This is the epicenter of audio frequency entertainment.
I love it.
It's awesome.
Can't get enough of it.
Oh, yeah. You guys are the best.
Heffron and Reep.
I love you, love you, love you.
The Heffron and Reep Show.
Hey, everybody, this is comedian John Heffron. I don't know why I said comedian. On the other side is Jon Reep, who has granola in his mouth, trying to do that weird thing that when you put something in your mouth to eat, that's when the server goes, can I get you anything? Or you guys talks?
Oh, yeah.
So
They're notorious for that.
I was stalling. Or do you like it if you were to start to choke now? Like if you're at a table, right, and you're choking, you ever just like you drink water the wrong way or something?
Yeah.
Do you like it when somebody stares at you or constantly goes, are you okay? Are you okay? Or I like to be left alone. I kind of want everybody at the table to turn their backs to
Yeah, it's almost rude to sit there and stare at you and
while you're
watch
choking.
you.
Or
Yeah.
you obviously.
Unless I'm making the choke sound like, and I need help, just leave me alone. I had a friend of mine named Kyle Davis who got so embarrassed one time because I choked on a jalapeno pepper. It just hit me wrong. And we were in a crowded restaurant. I was like, like that. And he was looking at like, I can't be seen with this guy. Like he kind of got up and walked like to the bathroom because.
Have you?
But I like that because I prefer that than someone standing there and making a big deal about it.
Yeah, because people say, and they're only doing it because they're caring. But
Yeah.
still, you're like, just look away for a second. I'm fine.
Yeah.
Like you're, and you do that thing, and the whole rest of the meal or whatever, whoever's next to you is staring at their phone, not paying attention to you. So you're like, can you go back to scrolling? And have you ever been in a situation where you thought somebody was wheezing and you had to Heimlich them, or was it legit choking?
No, obviously there were times where I was like watching it thinking, are they? And I was like, no, because they're still making some noise.
That universal.
It's when you hear zero noise. That's when there's no air getting through.
I did that. I almost choked that way. When I was a little kid, I'll never forget it. My dad, must have been Christmas time, where there was a dish of candies.
Yeah.
Old school, where even thinking about this makes me it was a butterscotch candy in that yellow wrapper where you'd pull it, it was like a piece of butterscotch candy.
Right.
And I was eating and I would do this thing where I put it in my mouth, I'd suck it, and then I push it back out. I'm a little kid. I'm elementary school ish. Right? Like,
wow.
I was doing that thing where you just kind of let it come in and out. And then I went, and that candy went right there. And boy, when you're choking and you can't catch your breath, if you drink water too fast or you're choking, you kind of never go in panic mode because you're like, my body knows. Immediate wheezing. I was immediate wheezing, and my dad was in the shower. So I opened the door, but this is where I felt more. I didn't want to be embarrassed or uncomfortable, then cared about living because I was a little kid. My dad was in the shower, and I know you don't barge in when your dad's in the shower. So I'm like, oh, crap, what do? I came in, he's showering. I didn't pull back the curtain or anything or tell him. Still wheezing, ran back into the kitchen. And we had these chairs in health class or something. I just happened to see that you lunge yourself against the chair.
Right.
You do this.
Yeah. They give yourself the Heimlich maneuver.
And the chairs had these weird pointy, like it was a farmhouse type chair. So it had these weird pointy edges. And I just stuck. I mean, I'm a little kid. I just guessed. And I just kind of, it just shot right out of my wall. And then my dad came out of the shower and I didn't tell him because I thought I'd get in trouble. But I literally was wheezing. I didn't know what to do. And I still, when I smell butterscotch, that
is scary.
Candies to this, I won't eat those candies to this day. Or I eat them immediately. So I won't let them. I literally bite them. So they're small. They're whatever.
Couple of things on that story real quick, and we got so much to talk about, and I gotta welcome everything. Hey, welcome to Heffron and Reep. We're live on Facebook and I think Twitter and YouTube. We're seeing your comments. Hello, Rick Sanford, Chris, Shane, Lisa, Sharon. We see your comments. We're going to get to some of them here and there. But as you were telling me that story, when you said the pointy chairs and you lunged yourself on the pointy chair, I don't think I would have been brave enough to do that for fear of what that would feel like. But I guess if you're panicked and you breathe, you can't breathe, you do anything.
I mean, I've had, if you do like even in, it was scary. I haven't been anything like it. Like I've been choked doing, like Krav Maga or or even wrestling, where this you just, even as a little kid, I'm like, I kind of feel I might be it. Yeah.
That story made me think of another time when I was a kid, me and my brother jumping on the bed and I fell and my throat hit the footboard. And I couldn't breathe. I guess my neck swelled up or something, and I couldn't breathe. And I ran in, and I swear this is so crazy. I also ran into the bathroom where my mom was taking a bath. Well, you said you ran into the bathroom when your dad was in the shower or something. I ran to the bathroom, and I was doing this move like, she panics, screams. Dad comes in there, grabs me. We're driving to the hospital now because I can't breathe. And I remember I have these memories of this. And we got pulled over by a cop because we were speeding. And my dad says he's choking. And then the cop says, follow me. And they give us a police escort. And then I passed out. I don't remember anything else. But it must have been pretty devastating for my parents because I thought I was going to die. It was real quick. I don't know what happened. To this day, I'm not sure what happened. I'm sure if I asked my mom, she could tell me more details, but it was a long time ago.
Yeah, it was. Was your dad a police officer at the time?
He was. I mean, I guess he could have kept going. No, at the time? No, I don't think at the time.
I didn't know if it was.
He had been before that, but I think he just knew if I tell this guy what's up, we're going to get an escort, and that'd be even quicker than having him chase us, all the way to the hospital because he doesn't know why we're speeding.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I know we have so much to get to. Speaking of hometown, first off, hold on, because I'm learning to be a better listener. How was your weekend?
Oh, John, that look on your face was like, it was priceless. Thank you. My weekend was fine. I was in Memphis on Wednesday. Right. And I did a show at a place called Lafayette's. It's just a music venue. And that's the first time they've
Lafayette. That's from Hamilton anyway.
Oh, okay. Still haven't seen it. Yeah. I know you're mad about that, but they don't normally do comedy. I was the first comedian they had. And so that's always, tricky when you have to teach a venue how comedy works as opposed to going to a comedy club where you know how it already works. I had to talk to the lighting guy, the sound person, and even the staff. I mean, I got mad at a waitress for throwing a glass bottle into a trash can real hard.
They like to do that. Or they play they do that thing where they're pretty far away and they toss it like beer pong when they see if they can get it from. Or I miss these sounds, the bartender who's shaking the ice. Stage you want to go. It's done.
That happened.
He's shaking it enough.
Yeah.
We're good.
I did 2 shows on a Wednesday, and by that second show,
you were just over.
I had him coached up. No. It was after the first show. I was like, all right, everyone, listen. You need to place things in the trash can, not throw it. And the guy at the bar, can you please turn the TV off at the bar when the show starts?
Were there people there?
Yeah. I mean, I was surprised with the attendance.
And then where were you?
And this weekend I was in Fort Worth, Texas at Hyenas Comedy Club.
What was that?
That was great. I was worried that, they just got hit with snow. And so they were like it was last minute ticket sales and I sold out every show, but it didn't happen until that week. So
that's all people are going to do. I've had, people are holding on to the cash, not figuring out what they're doing till last minute. That's how it's going to
Yeah.
It's going to be perfect. So
And I'll be
And Reep. Subject change.
speaking of choking in my childhood home, I posted for us, John, on my Facebook page. I think I might have accidentally, anyway, about sharing my hometown with you.
Yes.
Us doing a comedy show in my hometown where I grew up, or even my current city. But let's just say the town I grew up in South Lyon, Michigan. There's a couple venues we could do it at. I kind of posted it online to see if any of the two venues would get at me. But so there's a couple places that we could do it, but I think it'd be really fun. And the response seems pretty good. You know, I got a couple of haters, but for the most part, people would be really into it. So it'd be fun. What we would do is we would do a show.
Yes.
In some format. Haven't figured that out yet. I host, you bring you up, and then I do time after. I host, do some time, whatever the math is. But I'm introducing you to the place I grew up. We put a couple hundred people over the course of maybe a couple shows. It's still COVID in Michigan, still 25%. So that's a factor. Then I'm thinking I show you how I did it, how I grew up. I find a Chevette. I rent a Chevette, or even probably cheaper to just to buy a Chevette than to rent it.
Right.
I drive you around my hometown. Maybe take you by my childhood house. We don't live there anymore, but we could knock on the door. You could get in the shower. I can choke on butterscotch, and I can burst in if you want to recreate that scene. We can drive around. We'll hit McDonald's parking lot and see if there's any fights going on.
Yes.
We could put on. I have a South Lyon varsity jacket. We could go. I don't know what rivalries are still happening. It's been a while since I've been high school. But we could maybe drive to Brighton and get in some fights with some Brighton dudes.
Okay.
Or I can see if any friends of mine are having house parties. We can do a South Lyon weekend.
Yeah.
And we do shows, and then the deal is then I come to Hickory and we just mirror what we did.
Yes, I think we do that.
In the next 2 months, I'm going to put a thing on because we've been planning to do stuff together. I looked. We're almost at 10 years, and we never have. Right?
Yeah.
Planning, and we have not done it.
Was it when we did a show in Vegas with Taylor Hicks? Is that 10 years ago?
Well, we've done one. We did one with Taylor Hicks. We've done one with me, you, and Alonzo.
Yeah.
We did that corporate event for not Cena. Remember we met the guy.
That was Taylor Hicks.
That was Taylor Hicks.
Yeah, he was there.
I did a thing with him prior, so I had a prejudge. Remember that? That's where I thought me and him were gonna have a thing. Remember I told you the whole story, and then he walks in the green room. Remember that? There was a thing.
A good thing or a bad thing?
It was a bad thing.
Oh, I didn't know that
story because we don't have time for it.
Yeah.
And I told you the douchey story, and then when me and you and him did that corporate event, I was like, dude, this could get shitty if he remembers me.
I don't think he remembered because he didn't seem phased at all.
No.
Okay, that's a good thing then.
That's
yeah.
how intimidating I am to people. I did a show with him with me and Josh Blue, and on a Navy ship, and it got bad.
Wow.
I yelled at his tour manager. This isn't him. This is his manager. Handed whoever was in charge of us, who stood out front of, you know what? I can't get in the story.
Okay. Well, look, I
yelled at his tour manager, and because he was talking to one of the whatever. We don't have time. But anyway, so we'll say.
Oh wait, I was going to say when you come to Hickory and I come to South Lyon, we need to go to our favorite restaurants as well, like places we like to eat. Our favorite hangouts, not just high school and fights and that kind of stuff, but any kind of big momentous occasion that happened to you in your hometown. I got to show you those things.
I'll do it. Yeah, it's only one road. You know, there's only one main thing.
Let's do it.
So there's that. What other bookkeeping did we want to? We both have graphic tees on today. I have Jerry 76. This is Jared Ford. So you're wearing the Top Gun last show, we talked about, is this a subject change? I think so.
Heffron and Reep. Subject change.
I also got some feedback about shirts, merch. We're the only guys not doing it. Everybody has merch and shirts.
Yeah.
Last week we talked about it where I said, let's do a retro. I think retro shirts always look cooler than slapping our face on it or having a wacky bit, Well,
that's what we are. I mean, we're like an 80s sort of fun, podcast, Facebook show. We've done 80s trivia. We like the 80s. That's why I'm sporting the Top Gun. This is like, I think, late 80s, mid 80s. But I agree. Our T-shirt should match our love of the 80s.
All right. So what did you get any from?
Yes. Last week we showed several images of what my friend Tim Tucker, who's a graphic designer, came up with some ideas. We picked one that we liked, but we didn't like the color that it was on. He sent me some new pictures of a newer idea, and I can show them to you now if you'd like.
Perfect.
Or the Alan Jackson could show some of them to you.
By the way, side note, I'm reading. I going back to our South Lion show. My buddy Sean, who you played trivia against, asked if Heffron and Reep listeners get free tickets to the show. I'm going to say no. We haven't made money in 7 months. We got to grab $15 for ticket sales from people. All right, so this shirt. Oh, I can't see with my glass. Oh, so it's. Do we know that this is stock photo model? Is that who this is?
That is Tim's sister. And she is, I'm kidding. No, that's a stock model.
Okay, so on the page, I'm bringing it up. Heffron and Reep 5K run classic. Man, I like that shirt. Actually, let's do this. While you show other ones, I am going, sorry, I'm doing this to you. I have a comic.
There you go. That's the one with the, like the baseball t-shirt.
Well, I have, I already sent it to Alan. I have a buddy, a comic friend who does this for a living, who does shirts,
tank top,
comic.
Okay,
I'm trying to multitask. Look at this and send this info. Do you, Alan? I sent you the info. I have an idea for our shirts, John.
You have an idea for our shirts.
Yeah, we have a guest. So,
okay,
right here, but we'll get him on here in a second because we got to do the cool guest thing. So, Josh, you know Josh Sneed. Son,
yes,
he's been on a bunch of hilarious stuff, and if we have a link for it, we'll show you. But he's got this whole
very funny guy
called Old School Shirts,
and
I thought of him last night because he literally, this is what he does. He creates, makes, and sends out old school shirts. So we should show the design to him and let him say what he thinks about it. But I'm also curious about this as a business, and I'm also curious about him as a comedian and what's going on in his life. So
I like it.
Let's do that
on here.
That video, and then get him on awkwardly. Oh,
gentlemen.
Hey, Josh, wait 1 second, Josh. We have Alan. I believe we have a video. The Heffron and Reep guest. Can we play?
Oh, that
my OCD is going to kick in if it's not done.
I didn't know if you meant like a clip of a stand-up.
Well, we should have done that. Everybody, welcome to the show. This guy, he's been on comedy, has several popular clubs and colleges. Yeah. Josh Sneed, everybody.
Whoop, whoop, whoop.
What's up, boys?
Hey, Josh, how are you, man?
I'm good. Oh.
So first off, Josh, when did we work with each other? Like 100 years ago.
We had met a couple times, and then when I had a podcast before the wife and kids, you were in Cincinnati at the Newport Funny Bone, right?
Was that the name of the podcast before the wife and kids?
It should be.
That's a good name, and a podcast that's called Have Don't Want More.
Yeah, that's great. You agreed to be on the show, and so we showed up to the hotel room where you were enjoying a meal that you had put together from the front desk of the hotel.
Wait, time out. Josh, before you continue.
Yeah.
Can I guess what the meal was?
Yeah, because I won't forget it.
This is great. Okay. Guys, I know how John Heffron has the palate of a 3-year-old.
That's me too. I think that's why we're friends.
So he was eating he was eating a burger with no cheese, no ketchup, nothing, a plain burger and maybe French fries.
No, this was a meal that was purchased from the sundries shop of the hotel. So it was like multiple tiny bags of Cheez-Its, a sleeve of Nutter Butters, a Gatorade. Yeah. He eats like I do, which is fantastic. Billy Gardell once told me that I have the palate of a high 6-year-old. Which if Billy Gardell is telling you that you need to clean up your diet when you were the fat guy on a show about a fat guy, like you've got.
Yeah, I was doing it. It's probably it's what I call my Marriott Courtyard charcuterie board.
That's right. That's a perfect way to phrase it.
You put some Fig Newtons on there and you spread it this way. You get some and then if you have those microwave pizza bagel bites, you lay it out and then you put your stuff. So Josh, I want to talk about a million things, but first, I love the depth of your office right there.
Oh, thank you. Like the dimensions of the room or just the stuff behind me?
I just realized, you know how you follow a bunch of people on Instagram that you bought one of your kids a Boba Fett helmet, right? Or no?
Yeah. It was for my kids. Yes.
Somebody gave him.
Either way, it's cool, man, because I'm a huge Mandalorian guy and Star Wars guy, and I'm noticing all the Star Wars stuff up there.
I bought it for me, if that's what I'm trying to get at. This stuff is all for me. This isn't for my children.
So my buddy, Mark Alston, played Boba Fett in the remake of Star Wars, and he's a Fett.
Yep.
He does all that artwork and signs the helmets and stuff, and he's an amazing artist. Anyway, so
my dad, when I was a kid, was a model maker at Kenner Toys here in Cincinnati. So he made Star Wars toys. So it's kind of like in my DNA, if you will.
Yeah.
And
so you were a real little kid.
Yeah. I was born in 1977. So when Empire came out, that's like the first movie I kind of remember watching. And then Return of the Jedi was the first movie I saw in a theater.
Oh, wow.
Can you imagine if your dad made Star Wars figures?
Yeah, I can. It was awesome.
No. He doesn't have to imagine it, man. He just remembers it.
Well, he passed away, but like that painting right up there, my wife actually got me that for my 40th birthday. That's taken from a photograph of my dad and I. Whenever we would go anywhere where we were holding anything that could be used as a lightsaber, we would. And on our last vacation together, we were at Putt Putt, and we used them as the putters as lightsabers. So she had my business partner actually turn that into a Star Wars painting.
Wow.
So it's Star Wars is a ridiculously large part of my life.
I'm still getting over. I don't know. Right. Dads back then probably had briefcases. Right. So
maybe the business executives, the model makers just had cool cars and.
I gotta have. I want to have you on again and have my buddy Mark on because he did models for the movie Dinosaur because he's an animator.
Yeah.
They would always have to make the models before they would do. And you'd be a good person to have on that.
I almost feel like I've met him in some capacity. The last week that I did stand up before the world shut down, I was at the San Francisco Punchline. It was my first week headlining there, and the city was the first city to be infected by COVID. Right after Seattle, but the whole city was shut down. Nobody came to the shows. It was awful. But right before I flew out, I got to go take a tour of the original, like the studios where they did Indiana Jones and Star Wars, like George Lucas's first like little theater where they did all the special effects and stuff.
Wow. That's badass.
I would just never leave that office.
I'm a giant nerd.
Well, at least you're a nerd for the right thing. I can get behind the Star Wars nerds. It's like when you go off in a tangent in the comic book world and it gets down a rabbit hole where I've never heard of these characters. I go, okay,
Yes.
now you've gone too far. This I can get behind.
And I got to be honest with you, Reep. Your background is giving me all the vibes too, because that's how my first apartment and my townhouse looked. Because I worked for Blockbuster. That was my first job in college. Was working at Blockbuster, and I used to take all the movie posters, and I would do my whole like basement in movie posters, like the lobby of a movie theater, and it would be random ones too, like that. It wouldn't be like The Godfather and stuff that's like the obvious. I would have like Outbreak and just like random bad boys.
I had a movie called Band of the Hand. I got it free. It was in a dumpster at the VCR place. Band of the Hand. I won't like where you could pull it up. I don't even know if I've ever saw the movie, but it was in my bedroom for a couple years. I did that stuff, dude. I mean, in college, any kind of interesting thing like that you would get. I remember stealing cardboard cutouts from movie theaters and had no idea what the movie was. I never saw it. I just thought it'd be kind of cool to have it like in the house, or all that kind of stuff, or like a beer light of some beer that you never drink that you could just a neon light to click on and that kind of stuff.
My roommate, he was dating a girl that worked at Victoria's Secret. He worked at Foot Locker, and he would bring home cardboard cutouts of like the angels, like and we had those in our living room.
Oh yeah, a little bit of motivation here.
The cardboard cutouts of Victoria's Secret models, and then that basketball Papa shot. That's and every girl wants to walk into. We've gone out on 2 dates. She wants to walk into that house, and the whole time she's just, she's got a hand over her cup. And you were the roommates or stuff.
I think it's acceptable in college, but probably 30 and up, it needs like that kind of stuff.
Well, so
I'm talking about cardboard, not what yours has meaning in history, Josh. I'm talking about the guys who steal shit for no reason and put it in their house.
Like it's Buds McKenzie. I thought about people who don't know, who are on Facebook looking at the pictures behind Reep. Those are actually movies he's been in. That's
right. This is like my bragging wall. So I was in Eastbound and Down. I was in Harold and Kumar. I was in the Into the Storm, and then that's where the story ends.
Let me ask about the bragging wall. I just redid my basement, and by me doing it, I found people who would cheaply help me put it together. I have all this memorabilia, however you say it, right, from my career, Tonight Show or Last Comic-y stuff, pictures or magazine articles. Is it? I can't figure out if it's egotistical to put those up. Or I don't like, you know what I mean? Like part of me is like, why would I need to look at a old, a Maxim magazine with a dumb article on me? Is that showing? But it's kind of cool art and it's kind of a period but it's also braggy.
I think it's okay to have a braggy section of your house. Now, if your whole house is braggy, then that's different.
Dude, I know people that have pictures of themselves. Do you know? Like where you look at they have a frame picture that's either one of their headshots or you go
like just them, nobody else is in it.
Yes, I know two. I know two people when I was at their house. I'm like, is that just that's just out because you're trying to figure out which one you're going to use, and I'm like, no, that shit's framed.
That's hilarious.
Like it's kind of
right here. You can't see it, but the middle shelf in the center, that's my comedy memories shelf. So there's like when I was hanging out at SNL, because my buddy Finesse Mitchell was on the cast, and a picture of me when I opened for Chappelle, a picture of my album that got released, and then a picture from my half-hour special, which John Heffron, you may remember that night because you and I shared an audience when we recorded our Comedy Central Presents. It was your second one and my first.
Oh,
okay.
Wow.
That was the one that had the street post. Is that one? Yeah.
Wait,
post. Yeah.
You did 2 presents?
I had 3.
How do you do 3? Or I thought you just get 1 presents and then you move on to something. You did 3 of those?
You'd think. There's a lot of things in my career that you go, why didn't you?
Well, he had done. I'll tell him. I'll brag for you, Heffron. He had done one, and then when he won Last Comming, part of the prizes, he got another one. So he cashed in and did his second one. That was the one that I was privy to.
Got you.
Yeah.
Where did y'all shoot that?
The Hudson in New York City.
Right. Okay.
Where also we did Last Comic, and I did a special before that.
So who went first?
I did.
Okay. And so what you're telling me is John could not follow his second. His second special was not as good as his first special.
He did just fine. He did. He crushed it. I mean,
remember how important those are, and they are important. But if you look back now, right, a half-hour special for those of you listening is only on Comedy Central 22 minutes of material, if that.
Yeah.
And you have to record it in your head for commercial breaks. So the first set is 6 or 7 minutes, and then they go to commercial, and then it's 11, and then it's 4. So you piecemeal these if you want to do it right, so the commercials aren't messing up your mojo. But it's only 22 minutes of material. And when I shot those, I was like, oh my God, this is so, I'm going to be up there for so long. And it's just,
I remember I had they got the teleprompter in the back of the theater with like your bullet points or whatever. And mine just like all of a sudden about, 5 minutes in, like all the words disappeared. And then you see like the cursor flashing and it just goes, slow down. That's all it said. It was just slow down.
Really? Oh no! Why? Why would they do that?
Burning through it.
I guess I was ahead of the pace.
Yeah.
But Todd Glass had told me, don't do anything over 22 minutes. That's what he told me. Don't do anything over 22 minutes because if you give them a ton to chop up, they're not comics and they'll cut out like the setup for something that you call back later. Or he was like, do it in like 4, like he just said, 4-minute chunks that are easy to cut for commercials. And that was like awesome advice.
I wish I would have talked to you guys before I shot my presents, dude, because I had to follow a comedian who's very funny. His name is Ricky Smiley.
Yeah.
And he does a lot of props and wardrobe changes. And he had already invited his crowd to his special, and I had to reschedule mine. So I was now following him. So and he did 45 minutes.
Right.
And they loved it as they should. It was great. And then the guy who introduced me is like, okay, just real quick, Jon Reep. And then I come out and they're still laughing at Ricky. And I was just kind of like, it took me about 10 minutes to start winning these people over. But I remember, I forgot who told me this. Anytime you're doing a TV appearance and you don't think it's going well, just smile as much as you can to give the illusion that you're doing well, because in post, they will edit it and make it better because they don't want it to have a bad special either. They want it to look good. And I remember walking out there thinking like, this is horrible. I'm ruined. It's over. And then I watched it later. I go like, well, not too bad.
Yeah, there's a bunch of comics and stories about that where if you watch like Mitch Hedberg's, who couldn't have been just the clips they've been showing him lately on All Things Comedy and stuff. One of the funniest, his special though, his live taping at the thing did not go well at all. And by the time it makes it to TV, they kind of sweeten it and it's beyond fine. The other person I did mine with has gone on to be crazy, crazy famous, and rightfully so. But their taping, I was just in back going, I hope to get a laugh at least once or twice during this thing.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but that was kind of their thing. But they've obviously that night didn't mean that much because they went on to be awesome and whatever. But yeah.
Are you allowed to say who this person was?
Yeah, I don't want to because then it just sounds because they've gone on to have
right. So that doesn't matter. They're doing great. So go ahead.
Yeah, I still would. Josh. So the reason why, John, we were talking about our shirts last week.
Yes.
And last night, I was about to go on Clubhouse. And I was talking to Josh about Clubhouse because we're going to do something on there. Jon Reep, you have not been on yet on Clubhouse with me yet. That's something we should do where I introduce you to the Clubhouse world. It's a whole thing. And then that made me think I need to get a hold of Josh because he could look at our t-shirt designs and tell us whether it's cool or not, because Josh is busy. Well, he's got a couple, not even side hustles, parallel, which I think is the smartest thing, especially with COVID. That's as if you're a comedian, you're probably not listening to this podcast because we try to be entertaining and try to be funny. But if you're all broing it somewhere else, that's fine. But Josh has a couple different businesses, and one is not just making t-shirts. He's made like a really good career, has really cool t-shirts.
It's awesome.
So I thought I'd have him on. We'll talk about his, and he also, guess what? This technically Josh would be our first sponsor because he gave us a coupon code. So when people see his site, if they put in the code, then they get, I think, like 20% off. But his stuff isn't that expensive anyway, and they're all stuff like what we're wearing, so people are gonna love it. But
should we show him our idea?
We show you our idea, just the first one, and then Josh, you can go, I'd like it, I would do that, or let's slap it up on something.
Okay.
All right, the Alan Jackson. I wonder if we should show just the most recent one. I think that's what we should do. All right, so this is obviously it's on a model, but we like the 80s retro look.
Yep.
And we thought it'd be funny if our T-shirt was based on something we never did, like a 5K run. Yeah. So it says Heffron and Reep 5K run classic, and it looks like maybe an old Atari type Olympic running game sort of thing.
Yep.
And so that's kind of what we're looking at right now. But,
we're looking to sell about 500,000. Like we're looking to sell, 500,000-ish. Or 10. So what do you think? Would you change anything? Is it easy? Does it look good? Does it need to be bigger?
I would say
it's pretty basic.
I would say the only thing I would do to the design is to distress the design. Put some like cracks in it to make it look like it's a shirt you bought in '84. That's the only thing I would do. But the color scheme's good. I love the 3/4 sleeve raglan baseball shirt, especially. It's very 80s. Also, it would also look good on like a ringer tee. So like a solid white with just like the red collar and the red cuff on the sleeve.
Hey, Alan, is there another one? I don't know if there's another image. I think there was one. Yeah, see, now this one I don't like just because I'm done with the whole wife beater thing. And then, of course, the headband, that's not going to happen. Is there another one after that, Alan, or is that all of them? Okay, those are headbands. Okay, forget about that. Okay, yeah.
Headbands and wristbands are cool, though. Like,
yeah.
Whatever color the stripes are, we should make the wristbands, because I might just start wearing wristbands just because.
I have I wear some like almost every time I do DDPY, I put on headbands and wristbands.
And I just watched the DDP documentary weekend. I have questions about that, but we won't waste Josh. So
why is that wasting my time? I'm a wrestling guy. I haven't gotten into the yoga yet, but I want to.
Yeah, I used to do DDP yoga 100 years ago. Then I lost the DVDs, and then Reep's been doing it. But I'm kind of obsessed with Diamond Dallas Page as a person, as an entrepreneur.
Yes.
What he accomplished, how it almost didn't happen, all the money, his gamble as just to make it happen. That's what I'm kind of. I want to buy, even though I already have his program. I don't know if he has online stuff.
He does.
Trying to tell him he needs to make it easier to stream.
Yeah, there's an app.
There's an app. I use the app. What? And John, you don't have to do DVDs, VHSs, 8 tracks. It's all online now.
Listening to it on AM radio. This guy who's got a ham radio, and he just gives yoga over the ham.
I got lucky, Josh, because I had a fan who was an instructor of DDPY reached out to me and said, "Dude, I'd love to give you private, just one-on-one Zoom lessons." And if it weren't for him, I probably never would have done it because I'm too lazy to really get into the whole thing and downloading all this stuff. So I was just zooming with this dude. Then I downloaded the app. So yeah, it's a whole thing. But
we'll do that. But speaking of wrestling, let's jump back to Josh and his website, his entrepreneury. Is there any way, I wish we could show it, but I guess we got to think of if you're listening to the podcast. So if you could put up his website so I could, what old school, what is it, Josh?
So the one that you're referring to is oldschoolshirts.com. We have a couple of them, but the one that really hits the 80s nostalgia is Old School Shirts.
Oldschoolshirts.com. There it is. We're looking at some old Tiger Electronics, Funko Land, Commodore 64. Yes.
Is there a way, Alan, if are you scrolling? I don't know if you're scrolling live. Go to just I don't know, scroll down in North Carolina and click. Here's what I love about it. If you just click on anywhere close to where you live, you're probably going to see some sports team or something that reminds you of that area.
Oh, that is genius.
I got a bunch of really Detroit specific ones. Sorry,
you got the Charlotte Hornets on there. Record bar. Alan, remember the record bar?
That's what I mean, John. Like, so wherever you live, you can kind of click on and probably find something like that. If you go to oldschoolshirts.com, that's oldschoolshirts.com. Yep. And it's the guy who owns the place. So you know what? The big box stores, the Amazons, they got enough of your cash for your t-shirts. Let's throw some of that money to Josh.
Yeah, and like you said, if they see something they like, when they check out, they can type in Heffron and Reep, all one word, Heffron and Reep, and it's a 20% off their order.
Wow. Well, I'm going to take advantage of that myself because there's a couple of shirts on here I already love. And it's the first time I'm seeing this, by the way, so I'm sorry for being behind.
No, it's awesome. Fine.
I got a couple last night. I got a soccer one, and then I bought a Burger Chef one.
Yeah, that's a great one.
I just got
So in 2005, and Heffron and I were talking about this. John, you've met headliners probably when you first started that were just like 40 years in, trudging around, hated their life, didn't know their family because like all they had was comedy, right?
Yes.
Yes. I used to know guys like that.
Yeah. And so when I saw that when I started out, I was like, man, I want to, I'm not there yet, but I'll probably get there one day. I would like to have something else going on so that if I ever get burnout or want to take a break, I can. So my buddy and I started a funny t-shirt website in 2005, and it's called Fluffy Crate, and that's where we have like pop culture references, like if like all your favorite TV show and movie references. Some of the comedians and podcasters we work with, their stuff is on there, but they don't have like retro things like what you're talking about. So we started that one. Then we started one called Cincy Shirts, which was all about Cincinnati, and that one really took off for us. We actually have 2 stores here in Cincinnati. And then because that one did so well, we thought, let's do that same idea, but for other cities. And rather than create a website for every other city, we started Old School Shirts so that we could have all the different cities on one website.
So how do you get, I know you've traveled a lot, but how do you get all these little tiny references or things that aren't nationally known, the information to come up for the idea for the t-shirts?
I personally call him going, you should do this one.
Yeah, because I have ideas now.
Yeah.
I told him about an arcade that was in, I don't know if my mic's being weird. I told him about an arcade that used to be in South Lyon, and I'm like, I want to do that. Yeah, so I'm constantly giving him ideas.
But yeah, that's what I did when we first started. I just reached out to comedians, like Tom Clark from Milwaukee and, all my Cleveland buddies and, Chicago friend, Patty Vasquez and, and I'm like, hey, I explained to them what Cincy Shirts. I'm like, this was our old, defunct
Roller
basketball team, or our weatherman that everybody loved. And so when they got the concept of like what we did in Cincinnati, I said, now tell me what these are for, your city. And so that's how we started. And then since then, there's been like a huge growth of like Facebook pages, like I grew up in South Lyon in the 80s page, and it's all people from South Lyon posting pictures of all the stores they went to and stuff. And
I just got another one.
We just go to those pages and look and see what everybody talks about. Because not only do you get good ideas, but based on how many likes and comments it has, you can tell how popular it really was. And so we have a guy that literally goes through and he does that for some of the cities where we want to. We usually start with the sports teams because that's the easiest, like the Arena Football League and, ABA basketball, that kind of stuff. And then once we have a base of like stuff that we could find out on our own, that's when we really start our homework and try to figure out what else would make sense. And then people email us all the time with ideas. And, like we did one for Cincinnati that was Evel Knievel had done a stunt at the amusement park here, Kings Island. He like jumped over a bunch of buses in the parking lot. So we did a shirt that referenced that event. And we heard from his people. And they're like, you can't do that. And we're like, well, if you like what we do, we can do more. So that's how this section that you got on the screen right now came to be. Just last week, we signed a deal with Evel Knievel's estate. So now we're doing all kinds of Evel Knievel shirts that are licensed by him. And that's how they're on the website.
Hey,
so there's
John,
some really cool stuff on there.
If you're looking on Facebook, and apologize the podcast, but if you go back up, Alan, what Josh was talking for ours, because it's always about me and you. The red. Scroll back down. It was the third shirt of the Evel Knievel. See the red collar with the red arm,
the rings.
That's what he was talking about for us. Style.
Okay, well, I have a quick idea already. I know you have an idea, John, but I have an idea not just for a T-shirt, but you may already do this. Do you have a subscription thing where people sign up that you would send them a shirt once a month or anything like that?
So we just started that in Cincinnati. It's only in Cincinnati right now, but we had, so we have like a bunch of Cincinnati Zoo shirts. We have baseball themed for Reds fans. We have soccer themed because we're an official licensee of the new MLS team. And then we have Cincinnati food. So you can pick one of those categories. And then each month you get a shirt that's only available in the subscription. It's not available on the website. But we just started testing that out. December was the first month because we tried to do it as like a Christmas gift.
Yeah, so, that's a smart thing because I love this. I love this stuff. I love T-shirts. That's like all I wear, and I love old school T-shirts. And my girlfriend signed me up for this thing where I get one every month. It was like old school dive bar. Yeah. And I like the idea of it, but when I got school the T-shirts, and they were like not soft tees. So can you pick what kind of cotton and that kind of blend and all that stuff? Or
you can. We pretty much only use the softer tees. Like all of our stuff comes on, like that softer feel that you're talking about. It's funny though, because remember in the 90s,
Josh? I'm talking T-shirts with you, right? We're talking 50-50 poly blend there.
Some of them are tri-blend. They got a little bit of rayon in it to really make it fun. But what's funny though is for a long time that those have been the most popular, but those 90s shirts are making a comeback. Thick, like really thick, heavy cotton shirts. Like people are starting to want those again.
Yeah, I never liked those at concerts. I never had the shoulders to fill those out. It always looked boxy. I was never a fan.
Yeah, to me, it's all about the sleeve hole size. Sometimes the sleeve holes are way too big, and it looks like your arms have bell-bottom pants on them. And so if the sleeve holes are kind of tighter, it can make a not so strong guy look a little stronger.
No, I hear you. I need to fix my camera because when we go to this shot right here, I feel like I'm on with my two dads or something. I felt way shorter.
Yeah, Alan, we can ask them to do the 3. It's
No, this is fine. It was just funny because I was like way down here, like Uncle John and Uncle John.
yeah, and this is me. Like this is every.
Yeah, Josh, you should see us like 10 minutes before we go live every time. John's always like figuring stuff out, and nothing ever changes.
Nothing. I've never once out of all this podcast been able to sit down and just hit play. It's always a thing. Today, so Josh, I had to get this trailer thingy. It's a 30. It's like a semi. I don't know how this can be pulled, but I did it because I was in a barn. And it got so cold in the barn, I couldn't use my fingers to change stuff. So I had to get this because it has heat. But just even we blew a circuit right before the show, and I had no power, and I had to run a extension cord to a barn that's it's never not a thing, not a thing with me. So
I get it, man. I don't like. I've been so bored during this from not traveling that I started streaming video games at night. So like every night, because I was already playing video games. So now I just fire up my stream and people can chat with me while I play. And
are you on Twitch?
I'm on Facebook. I was doing both, but I'm just Facebook now. I go by Ohio Joker. So if there's any people that like to watch that sort of thing, they can find me on Facebook. It's Ohio Joker Gaming. But I just turn it on and I turn the camera on and people can watch me play video games and I interact with the chat and it's a lot of fun. But it's the same thing. It's like everything's great. I turn it off, come back the next day, turn it on, everything's changed. Something doesn't work. I'm like, I didn't do anything different. And it just decided not to work tonight.
So I think our next step, John Heffron, is we got to send Josh the actual image that we want on a shirt. And then do we pick the color and all that stuff?
Page, if we wanted to do that, Josh, if we created the Heffron and Reep 5K distress t-shirt.
Yeah, and we can distress the art too if you just want to send the art. But what I was telling Heffron is the beauty of what we do now is we print on demand. So we don't have to have a ton of t-shirts that sit on a shelf and we hope they sell. Like if we sell one, we print one. And so that way there's like no risk involved. You can come up with as many designs as you want.
Dude,
that's great.
So many. I have also hometown ones too. If we do when we do the introduce you to the hometown one, John, maybe we'll have merch at that. And
John, are you going to give him one of your ideas right now?
What? No.
Okay. Because I have one too.
Well, there's two, and there's two grocery stores that no longer that are such a South Lyon thing. And you're talking my age, South Lyon. So if you're watching this and you're South Lyon now, you're like, you mean the Kroger that used to be? No, that's not where it used to be in there. I know two. There were only two. And if we do the South Lyon show, I'd have to get, we'd have a Showerman's and Colonial Market where I worked at a grocery store.
But see, I would love that t-shirt. I would like to wear a t-shirt.
A Colonial Market t-shirt.
I would wear that in the South and people would ask me and I'd be like, you don't get it, man. You know what I mean? Like, I like that part of it too. You don't even have to understand what it is. It's
Josh,
a cool design.
About that idea that me and Reep, we want to do it where I make him do a show, not make him. He does a show in my hometown with me, and then I go to his hometown and I do a show with him, and we're swapping each other's hometown.
I love it. The only thing I don't like about it is that I'm not a part of it except for the merch.
well, you pick what you would do. Because me and John were going to franchise this.
Right.
I could introduce you, Josh, to South Lyon. Like, I'm going to only host these things. So I could be bringing all these people, and then I go to Cincy as long as, though, FYI.
Yeah.
If I happen to say I'm from Michigan, I don't need any Ohio booing at me bullshit like I've had happen in Columbus, Dayton, and in Cincinnati. I've made that mistake. It's been a thing. Okay, one time, Josh, I got Bell's palsy in Dayton, and when I was driving, think I was going to have a heart attack. My only thought was, I don't want to die in Ohio. and I wanted to get to Michigan border. There's a Cabela's right at Dundee, right when you come in. So, but as long as that doesn't happen, we can switch towns, and then you go to Reeps, and already look at that.
Come on, I'm in. Come on, guys, and I'll host here, and I'll set the table and make sure everybody knows what's up.
Right. That's what it is. It'll slowly grow. Every comedian has their city, and it just bounces around from city to city. Yeah,
I'm on board.
Oh well, yeah.
I'll do all the merch. I love it. And then Reep makes a poster that we can all hang behind.
Hometown hilarities. No, that's dumb.
That's probably already taken.
Like town swap. There's wife swap. No, there's town swap or something. Comic town swap. I don't know. We'll think of it.
Roots. Something about roots. Comedic roots.
Ooh. Or
no,
we make
that's probably sounds.
Well, I got some ideas. Can we show your the website again, Alan? Just Josh, I don't know why I'm showing it because you're listening to a podcast. You're like, so it's oldschooltees.com.
Old school shirts.
Old school shirts. I'm sorry. No, we should have the oldschoolshirts.com. If you go there now, if you're listening and type in Heffron and Reep, I don't know what's capitalized or what, probably all lowercase.
It's just all one word. Just no Heffron and Reep, A-N-D, the word spelled out. Heffron and Reep, all one word, capitalized or not, it'll save you 20%.
Yeah, I mean, we all gotta make some cash, so
it's pretty cool.
He's not in this for so there's that. Also, Josh, me and John have been playing a game. Maybe we'll come back to the three of us. We've been playing a game. Here's the deal. Our producer Alan, it was the reigning champ, and then he quit. Literally, it's a trivia game we play on a podcast or on a stream. He did one round, and then he was like, I'm out. I don't want to be part of this. And he gave a very moving retirement speech, but he does a lot back end in jumping forward like the three of us are, was too much work for him.
I understand.
So
hey,
John,
sorry, I just noticed in the chat our mutual friend Cooter Douglas in Myrtle Beach at Facebook wanted to say hi to everybody. That dude is the best, and I know John, you know him.
Yeah,
he's like the house MC at the Myrtle Beach Comedy Club, and he's a huge fan of you guys too. So I wanted him to know that we saw it. That's my guy.
What's up, Cooter?
That's funny.
That was the last time I saw Reep. Was in Myrtle Beach.
Was that the Comedy Cabana then, huh?
Yeah, well, yeah, you were there maybe on vacation or something, and Kenny Smith was in town on vacation as well and showed up and did a guest set.
What year was that?
I had to follow Jon Reep and Kenny Smith. Let me tell you about a night that sucked.
What year was this?
I don't know, it was 5 years ago, something like that, 6 years ago.
And you probably in Myrtle Beach, you probably don't sell a lot of t-shirts because nobody has sleeves on their shirts in Myrtle Beach.
Well, every building around you sells t-shirts for $5. So.
There was a house of blues in Myrtle Beach, I believe, or
yes, I performed there.
Not me. There's another Heffron I think had something going on there.
Yeah, I did a gig there once,
and it looks like all bikers.
Yeah. Yes, yeah.
The show's gonna be horrible.
There's a whole week devoted to bikers in Myrtle Beach.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but the contest.
Let's play the game, John.
Yeah,
let's play the game. So what happened, Josh, is I just asked, how do we do this, John? I just asked questions. They're super easy. You're basically a word association. You're just gonna have to say one name, and there's a caveat at the end.
All right, quick question. So John's gonna read the question, and then you buzz in just by saying your name.
It's an honor system.
Okay.
We have no bells because we have sponsors. So
I'll say.
Am I really trying to win this? Am I trying to win, or am I being a good guest so that next week you can still be the returning champion?
No. Because John's had it taken from him a lot. Here's what we should do, though, because Josh, I don't even know how to tell the story. I had Jon Reep merch sent to my house without knowing. Jon Reep had masks with his beard. I magically got them at my house one weekend. It was kind of odd with a flash dance mini puzzle, and he swore he didn't send anything. And I'm like, well, why would I get Jon Reep merch sent to my house? It was a whole thing.
Yeah.
So I thought about doing this since we've been talking about t-shirts, and we are going to create a cake. Can we pre-order? Josh, is that too hard, or you got to get a hold of your tech guy? What if people could pre-order the Heffron and Reep shirt, and then just when we give you the thing, it's bam. We sold 6. That's too much. I can tell by the look of your face.
It's not no, but we don't need to because
print on demand.
Like I can print them tomorrow. Like if I have the art tonight, we can have it printed and on the website tomorrow.
Well, okay. So what I'm thinking is the winner of this or loser has to send the other guy merch.
Love it.
So Josh, if Jon Reep loses, Jon Reep, you send country-ish merch.
Lots of stuff. Okay.
And then if you are sending country-ish stuff to Josh, you can throw in one of those hats to send to me.
Okay.
I like those hats, and I don't
like the country-ish hats.
Some random golf guy, and I don't even golf. I just needed a hat. I'll wear a country-ish hat, even though we should have
Heffron and Reep hats. Yeah.
But I'll wear a country. So if you lose, you got to send Josh a shirt. If Josh loses, he's got to send you a shirt, which is right. And
yeah. Okay. I'll sign a headshot for you too.
right.
All right. So I forgot what music we usually play. Hold on, guys. Let's let me. What's this one? Hold on. No, this is. Oh, wait a second.
Josh, this is where John is OCD. Like he's got tons of music stuff in front of him.
This is where we bring it down a little bit.
Oh, is this Adele? No.
Okay. I know what we're gonna do. Ready? All right, everybody. Here's where we're gonna play the trivia. I don't have a name for it. Yes, but if I just get my tone like this and not even say words, ha, the same meaning comes across. So here we go. I'm gonna ask you guys
that's it.
Questions. I'm gonna ask you guys 5 questions. The winner of the 5 questions wins. Loser sends the other person merch. You chime in by just simply saying your name. We're gonna go gentleman's choice, and I'm gonna try to do this. Here we go. Okay. Jon Reep is at a little bit of an advantage because he knows how this game played. Josh, we'll figure it out after the first one. Okay. I'm going to need a movie star that has beginning with the letter A.
Josh.
Josh.
Alec Baldwin.
Alec Baldwin first
round. Or Amy Adams for double points.
Wow, that was good. I almost said Adele because someone else just said Adele, and then I realized that's not. And then Josh chimed in. So,
all right, Josh. So as you can see, I asked a question, and then there's a switcheroo at the end. It would be without or with or So there's the thing. So I kind of worked that. Okay, here we go. Next question. So far, the score is 1 to Josh, 0 to Jon Reep. That means Jon Reep has 0 and Josh has 1. So that means Josh is winning by 1. Okay. Next up, fellas. This is all for merch. Something found in an office ending in an S.
John
Reep comes in with a John.
Staples.
Staple.
That's good.
Yeah.
Well played.
It's more than one staple. That's the loophole. You could just pluralize anything, and that would have worked.
Score right now is 1-1. That means both of them tie. That means one person answered in 1, then the other person answered. So it's 1-1. So the score is actually 0, but it's actually 1-1. If you're told 1 and 1, that would be 2. But right now it's 1-1. Best out of 5. 3 questions left.
So both of us have a magic number of 2.
Yeah. And then
okay. All right. I was adding on to it. I'm sorry.
Okay. Here we go. This question, we're going to switch it up. I'm going to need from one of you guys a fictional character beginning with a P.
John, Josh.
There's Jon Reep.
Go ahead.
Pinocchio.
Fictional pair.
All right.
I would have gone Peter Pan for double points.
Score currently right now is 2-1. Jon Reep is in the lead. Josh has 1. So far, Hickory, North Carolina, steaming ahead above Cincinnati. Here we go. You know who we need on here is, you remember who Vannevar Wright is? He was a friend of mine from CNN. He used to be a broadcaster here in Detroit, but he'd always go, I got to have him on. He'd go, this is CNN Headline Sports. Deep good left center field. Like, I got to have him on. That was a horrible impression, but it was Van Wright. Van Wright. Okay, here we go. Something you do every day, beginning with a G.
Josh. Go to bed.
Oh.
It's a sentence. Do every day, right? Something.
Yeah.
Josh coming up with a thing. That would be tie 2-2. Okay.
It's getting heated.
I saw this question. Not overly creative, but one question left. This is the tiebreaker. This is a rubber match. Probably going to be a T-shirt on the great John versus Josh battle of 2021. Probably be available on Old School T-shirt. Sure. Old School. What's the name?
Shirts.
Old School
Shirts.
Okay, Old School Shirts. Make sure you go to put Heffron and Reep to get your 20% off. Here we go, fellas. I need a make of a model car beginning with a B.
Josh.
John. Ooh. Wait, time out. That was very close. I don't know who was first. Do we want the Alan Jackson to?
I have an opinion.
Okay,
I can write it down. Alan, if you want to write it on a piece of paper, and I'll write it on, and we'll show each other's papers, so that way there's no.
Okay. So we're writing who we thought was first.
Yes,
right?
yes. Ready? We'll draw on 3.
Okay, hold on. All right, I'm ready.
1, 2, 3.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, go ahead, Josh, for the win. You've had an hour to think about it now.
A make or model of a car begins to be
Buick.
Ooh, yeah. You could have said Bentley, could have said BMW, Bugatti. I mean, I thought of a bunch in that time that they figured out who had buzzed in first. But congratulations,
Josh Sneed. You win your choice. You win Jon Reep swag. You have your choice. All fair. You can say whether you want a T-shirt.
You have a mask of your beard, like a COVID mask?
Yes, I have a ginger beard mask. Hold tight.
100%. 100%. That's what I want. No question.
Okay, I'll show you.
I'm going to put it back. I don't know where you put it in your. I got to have you on with my buddy Mark on. Since
I'm going to put it on my ears. That is fantastic.
It's like way bigger than it should. My mouth isn't this big. My nose isn't that big. But it's kind of funny if you like orangutans as well. Kind of looks like an orangutan.
Or the guy from Game of Thrones.
Yeah, that's true. So that's yours, buddy.
I love it. I'm taking it too. I'm going to take you up on it. And if you still want a signed headshot, I'll be happy to send it to you.
Definitely. We'll put it back here with Harold and Kumar. Put it right in the middle of Harold and Kumar back there.
Oh, it's hilarious.
Well, here, Josh, you can just stay on while we end this thing. Well, you know what? This music, right? We should all go in slow motion, like at the end, like we just won the game, or just hold on. I'm gonna turn this up loud. All right, so that was Heffron and Reep. Make sure you go to Josh's website. Put in heffronandreep.com. By the way, bookmark the page is what you need to do if you're listening to this now, because we're going to have the Heffron and Reep 5K run that you ran in 19. What year are we doing this? 1980 something.
84 or 85, I'd say.
Okay. Or and then we just have another one that's 1999. That way, if you're younger, people would do the math and go, you weren't even alive in 84.
Oh, I see.
You know what I mean? We'll go 84. What's it, 1999? That's a good year.
Well, for printing on demand, we can make up any year we want.
That's right.
Yeah. So do all that. Don't forget to rate, subscribe. If you're listening to this or if you're watching us on Facebook, please subscribe on whatever podcasting you subscribe on. That's a thing. We need those numbers, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, plugs. Go to johnreep.com. He's performing all the time.
In Chattanooga,
my agents and managers are just their phones just probably just trying to rehook up the phone in the new office. That's why I'm not getting calls. Josh, you got anything you want to plug?
I will be in Phoenix this week, this Friday and Saturday at Stir Crazy Comedy Club in Glendale, right outside of Phoenix.
Maybe you guys can tell me what it's like to actually perform comedy at a club. We're still going to be working on the town swap thing. That's going to happen soon. So stay involved in that. Fellers, anything I'm forgetting?
Guys,
I don't think
you
so.
are two of my favorite comics, and it is an honor to be on your podcast. I appreciate your friendship, and I appreciate what you do for our industry.
Oh, I love that.
I just need Josh on all the time. He's just
Dude, you should go out
and just,
get that drop.
I'm going to get my buddy Mark on. I'm going to try to do that for the next podcast.
I'm in.
And we're going to do Boba Fett, and then we'll have Josh on just because I think they can share some stories. And then, John, me and you just sit back and watch those two talk, and we're not doing anything.
You're genius. I like it.
Also, John, I know you got a cruise. Hit me up so we can have a Clubhouse chat, and I want to show you that because I have some kind of cool news about Clubhouse if it just happens about somebody who I might be interviewing on it. It's kind of cool. I'm excited. A lot going on in the world. That's it, everybody. Stay safe. Whatever.
You may have Rick Sanford III take us out.
No, let's just end because I know you got to go get a new tattoo. You got to cruise.
All right.
So,
all right, bicycle.
Since you love the Heffron and Reep show, please go to iTunes and let them know. Rank the show and leave a comment. We don't care what you write, They, Heffron and Reep, have low self-esteem. So please validate them by ranking them and making them seen. So no matter what